Bill O'Brien, I'm a recreation student. I actually brought some information here with me. The same Pedro Ramirez that actually got in the accident on the 9th of January is the same Pedro Ramirez that registered to vote in Tulare County. Pedro Ramirez filled this form out. Somehow he actually filed that he either had a driver's license or a social security number. This is a U.S. voter registration. He also formed an illegal political action committee, filed IRS Form 8871 to establish a 527 group. Illegal aliens can't do this. Right here are two articles prior to Pedro Ramirez's accident on January the 3rd and January the 5th, where the Fresno Bee quoted him saying that he wasn't driving without a license, therefore he lied about driving without a license, and he got busted. This is the most interesting and most recent development. Pedro Ramirez has, according to bylaw 7.2, ASI bylaw 7.2, an officer can be removed from office by the Senate if they've missed more than 2 meetings. Pedro Ramirez has missed 3 meetings. So I'm going to ask the review board and the Senate to actually remove Pedro Ramirez for missing more than 2 ASI meetings, because he's not representing the student body if he doesn't show up for his meetings. He missed on January 26th, February the 9th, and March 23rd. I also want to ask you what kind of respect for the law, because that's what the ASI bylaws state, that you're supposed to have respect for the laws. What kind of respect he has for the laws by lying, by driving without a license, by registering voters, registering to vote, and forming a illegal political action committee. That's all I have to say. Thanks for listening. You guys want the...
Is anybody else in the next row? We're in the row that continues on to the edge, yes?
Me? My name is Gloria Hernandez. I'm an alumni of Fresno State, a taxpayer, a United States citizen, sister of 2 Vietnam veterans, and of 2 Marines for the Gulf War. And I stand here with my credentials, which have nothing to do with this issue. And I ask you, as an alumni, to take this very seriously, because you're bringing outside campus business on this campus. That doesn't make sense. You're not only wasting energy, you're wasting taxpayers' money. You're utilizing the resources of taxpayers to hold an illegal hearing. The issue of immigration is not for you to handle. The issue of policing is not within your scope. The judgment of an innocent person who hasn't been held accountable by the police should not be in your hands. Now, if you want to hear racism and read the racism that O'Brien has done on his webpage, I just think of him as a bully. And I think he's swaying public interest. With the mandate of the ASI. Nothing to do with it. And again, as the brother said earlier, you will go down on history if you take racism into this room. You will go down on history. And that's not a legacy you want to leave as an alumni. That's not a legacy you want to leave as a Central Valley person, where the majority of us are Hispanic. And that's not a legacy you want to leave as a person. That is an ugly legacy. So I ask you to consider, do your job, but focus on your duties. Don't focus on hate. Don't focus on racism. Don't do the police job. That's not your job. Don't do the immigration job. There's other people we pay to do that. That's not you. That's all I ask. Consider what your legacy is going to be.
Is there anybody else in that row?
My name is Ralphie. Yeah, I too am an alumni here. And you guys are dealing with something, really heated. We all know that. But anything was just a little warning, and let me tell you why. There's so much happening. Gloria already alluded to the movement that's taking place. We see a lot of that already taking place. the harassment was taking place in Wichita, and it's become known as the public lynching of federal at this university. And that's the ugly thing to Fresno State is a great university. You can look at it that way, but this itself is going to take it. It's going to take it big. But let me tell you this much. I would hate to see somebody like this guy O'Neill over here with what he's doing, and his actions amount to what happened in Arizona. Those kind of actions that he's up to is nothing different than what happened in Arizona. It worries me what he's up to. I know it's psychological level. I'm not a therapist. I can't diagnose the guy or analyze his psychological level. But I do worry about what his capabilities are when he goes this far, when he's so obsessed over lynching, a racial lynching of federal here on this campus. And that bothers me as an alumni. So you all have a responsibility. You make the decision. I'm sure you know what you're doing. But definitely think about what happened in Arizona, because I would hate that to happen because of somebody's actions like that here in Fresno.
Anybody else in that row?
Here's Walter, and I'm here to speak for the students. Used to be part of ASI back in the days. I still belong to this community, which is the campus community. I'm doing my master's here. And just want to say something about AB 540 students. In case you don't know what AB 540 is, 'cause I see some ignorance in this room too about what AB 540, the DREAM Act and all this stuff is. AB 540 is the state law that allows undocumented students to go to university, paid as a state resident. It doesn't give federal aid money or state money for that matter. It just gives them the opportunity to go and obtain a higher education degree. Pedro, as any other AB 540 student in this campus and any other CSU campus, in any campus in this state, belongs to those universities. And they have rights as the other students. As any student who's at AB 540, he could have run for president. Nothing on the law says, and the bylaw says that you have to be a U.S. citizen. He didn't violate any right for that matter. AB 540 students in this campus belong to this community. They pay for their own tuition. Therefore, they're paying for all the services they get over here. Unlike other students who get financial aid and they just throw it away. Not every student who gets financial aid just throw it away, but there's a lot of students who do it. And AB 540 students are very respected students who work very hard to obtain a higher educational degree.
Excuse me, could you address?
Well, I'm doing everybody over here, to the media, you or you. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Once again, just focus on the students. ASI is here to serve the students, not to serve outside community members who are here just to butt people. Thank you.
Is there anybody else in that row who would like to make public comments? Is there anybody else in the second row balcony? Is there anybody else in any of the back rows